Welcome to this Fireside Chat with the Dean. I'm Professor Hind Benbya, and my guest today is Paul Robson, the CEO of MYOB. He's also a graduate, an alumni of our business school. Paul, it's a great pleasure. Thank you for joining us.
It's fantastic to be here. I'm looking forward to the conversation.
Thank you. Paul, your journey to CEO of MYOB is nothing ordinary. It can inspire many graduates and tech leaders. Can you share the experiences that shaped your path and what ultimately led you to this role?
I mean, that's a big question. It's been a career now that has just, I think, ticked up nearly 30 years. So it's been a long time, but it all starts here. I mean, I finished high school and didn't really know what I wanted to do. My father was a small business owner, and it was all I kind of had in my head. So do something in the business world, but didn't really know what I wanted to do. And so I came to what was then known as the University of Western Sydney, now WSU, and did a Bachelor of Commerce degree with a major in marketing and management, and really enjoyed my time here. I just really enjoyed both the technical and academic part of the learning piece, and unlike at high school, I felt like there were things there that I was going to maybe use in my career. But I also really enjoyed the atmosphere of just doing projects and team activities with small groups. But interestingly, while I was at university, I also had a whole raft of part-time jobs. I spent time as a delivery driver for Pizza Hut. I worked at a hotel in the city as a porter, carrying bags up and down stairs and between floors. I spent some time working in a market research firm, which sounds really exciting, but it was literally just telephone cold calling people for political polling. And actually, I was at university for 3 years, but the 4 or 5 jobs that I had in those 3 years, part-time jobs, I think was equally as important to the career that I've had as the time that I spent at university learning the more academic part of business. I then went on. I was lucky enough, fortunate enough to be offered a graduate role as I left the university, and then I bounced through a whole bunch of different roles and countries and locations, and then I landed back here in Australia to be the CEO of MYOB in early 2023, so a few years ago now.
All right, that's a nice trajectory and global experience. Was there within that trajectory something that shaped really the upcoming to this role?
Yeah, I think early on, I felt like I wanted to do things that were slightly different every day. To stay interested for me, I didn't feel like I wanted to become a CFO and do nothing but finance and accounting every single day. I didn't want to be in supply chain and just do logistics and supply chain management every day. And by the way, they're great roles and wonderful opportunities for people that have an interest in that space. But for me, I really wanted to be. I'm at my best when there's 5 balls in the air and you have to juggle them all and make decisions that impact strategy, but also impact the day-to-day operational running of a business. And I relish the opportunity to carry that weight, to carry that stress, to lead the team, and to be more general in nature. And that led me to, over time, seek out roles that were different to the ones that I was doing. So when I started at Philips, I started effectively as a product manager, product marketing manager. But over the next 2 or 3 decades, I sought out roles in sales leadership, in marketing leadership, in go-to-market and training, business management. And a couple of different times, I actually put my hand up for new projects where I said, the large corporation, multinational organization, embarking on a new strategy, we're going to build a small team to test that. I always put my hand up and said, I'd love to lean into the new thing, the new idea, which actually served 2 purposes on reflection. One was it built these muscles, we were talking about muscles earlier, these muscles to do different things. But the second thing, it actually built a lot of resilience and how to get things done in large organizations and drive outcomes in businesses that otherwise can be quite welded to their strategy over a multi-year horizon.
Sure, and it also brings visibility to the
It
work
also
that
brings
you have
visibility, yeah.
and opens up other opportunities. So for those inspiring to leading in tech, especially in this kind of disrupted time of change, what advice would you offer?
I mean, if I can, I'll use some examples if you don't mind. But I was working for Adobe, one of the world's largest software companies, in the early 2010s, when there was this new technology that had come out, and it was this thing called subscription software, where software was going to move from being discs in a box that you bought at a retail store to software that you effectively downloaded through a browser. You still ran them on your hard drive, but you went from owning software and having to upgrade that every 2 or 3 years to effectively renting software and having that run it was always current. And there was a massive backlash in the market about businesses not providing software that the business that their customers owned, and they had the ability to kind of reload when they wanted to. And there was an equal backlash inside the business at the same time. A lot of people inside the organization couldn't get their heads around why we would have that strategic change. The business was fine, it was growing, it was profitable. Why would we disrupt ourselves? And the CEO at the time, a gentleman called Shantanu Narayan, to this day reflects on the fact that the people that lent into that business change were the ones that actually had a career acceleration dramatically, whereas those that pushed against it were like the antibodies in the system working against positive change. So I'd give a couple of pieces of advice. One is change in technology is inevitable. It is always there. And if you're not comfortable with change, I would maybe recommend a different industry, because the technology industry is the definition of dynamic and constantly changing. And the second thing I would say is lean into those changes, lean into those opportunities, because it does give you the opportunity to dramatically accelerate your career versus businesses where you effectively are just serving time to get the next job and then serving time to get the next job.
You have recently spoken about the importance of candidates with nonlinear careers, and that you value those nonlinear careers. Why is it important for MYOB, and how does it shape your leadership pathway?
I think it's really important. So I talk about this concept of non-linear career paths and non-linear career journeys. So first of all, break that down. What is that? It is everything other than doing a degree in a certain field, studying in that field, getting the first job in that field, and then working through every single role to become the most senior person in that field. It's the exact opposite of that. It's someone who may do a degree, may not do a degree, may take time off, may take a gap year, may work in industry first, may start up their own business, steps in and out of a career path, but over time effectively creates a whole bunch of skill sets that are based on all of those experiences that are vastly broader and vastly more diverse than you would normally have in a linear career path. And that brings someone to the business, when I think about hiring and bringing on great talent, that I know can sit at the table and represent a perspective that is far more broad, typically far more thoughtful, than just, this is my opinion. And so I think nonlinear career paths are to be embraced rather than to be scared of. I spend a lot of time talking to young people. I've got two sons. I've got a 15-year-old and a 17-year-old. My 17-year-old finishes his HSC this year, and I'm encouraging him just to try everything. Like have a go at lots of different things, and that rounded outcome I think is highly desirable in today's workforce.
That's great to hear. I don't think that's the same culture that is embedded across other organizations. So it's maybe characteristics for yours or your organization.
Yeah, and it's certainly paying dividends when I think about the talent that we have. I've got senior executives in our organization that have had vastly different careers, that have come from small businesses, large businesses. One of our senior most executive general managers running a business, a software business, used to be a mechanical engineer, and did a complete career change, just had a love and a passion. But again, if I think about that, running a business and the mindset that an engineer can bring to running a business is a different mindset that someone with a different vocational background. But ultimately, it's not just about those individuals, it's about the team coming together and playing off each other to create a great outcome.
You refer to that a culture of experimentation at MYOB. So with that, how do you balance the operational discipline needed to scale at the same time?
That's a really good question, because you do. Ultimately, you have one of the things that I learned when I was doing my business degree is firms exist to create shareholder value. And so you do need to drive operational excellence. You do need to drive an outcome. You need to drive your business towards profitability and growth. Businesses need to maintain growth. They need to be profitable. So that's important. But if you think about it, the world is changing so quickly. If you're not experimenting, you're not necessarily laying down the foundations for the next opportunity to grow the business into the next horizon. And so if you think about just in the tech industry, in the late 1990s, if you weren't thinking about the internet, you were going to get left behind. In the 2000 and like the mid 2010s, if you weren't thinking about mobile and how to bring your business to a mobile interface, you're going to get left behind. If you think about cloud, lots of businesses lost their way building and investing in large data centers when compute went to the cloud, and it became far more cost effective to effectively buy compute from the cloud off the grid than to build your own data center. And right now it's all about AI. If you're not making the right investments right now around AI, you're going to get left behind. And what I would say with that, it's not just, so the other piece I'd say around experimentation, it's okay to fail. I ultimately see my role as the CEO as setting culture and setting direction. And part of the culture piece is allowing the team to feel like they can try something and fail without an issue, without concern that they may lose their job or get in trouble. As long as the team adheres to the values of the organization and tries, we give them tremendous support. And I think that's a really critical way to think about culture, because if you put the slogan on the wall that says we experiment and we innovate, but you don't allow that experimentation, you don't allow failure, you don't embrace change, you'll still fail as an organization.
Again, there's always a balance. Where do you stop the experimentation part because you need to scale?
Yeah, I mean, so tactically what you would do is you corral it. You corral the experimentation at a size and scale that won't break the business, unless the business needs to be broken. And you can talk to the Kodak moment and the Blockbuster moment, etc. But most businesses don't have that existential threat right in front of them. And so if you think past the kind of the horizon that you can see into the next horizon, it's important to lay down the right investments. And so operationally, you do that by providing the right level of budgeting, corral the right resources, corral the right headcount, corral the right talent in a point and with enough investment for it to work and to flourish, but not enough that it can break the company if it doesn't work out. You've got to protect the core, and protecting the core is super important. So it is a balance. But what I would say is not a binary line. It moves, it ebbs and flows. And so right now, I'm over-investing in AI. I've over-invested from a structural perspective. I've carved out key people in my organization and created a center of excellence in AI. And we're doing that intentionally because we believe that there's an opportunity in our core business for those two things to come together.
So we started the conversation around artificial intelligence, and we know that it is transforming, shaping all industries, and SMEs are no exception. You mentioned that you're investing there. How are you empowering SMEs in that particular direction with the use of AI?
Our charter, our purpose since the company was founded in the early 1990s is to help businesses start, survive, and succeed. Most small businesses go out of business in the first year of trading, and most go out of business not because their owner or their founder isn't passionate, not because they haven't got a great idea, mainly because they don't know how to run and operate a small business. Cash flow problems, the number one cause of business failure. So we look at the North Star of how do we help businesses start, survive, and succeed, and work back from there. We do that and have done that for decades. In the realm of AI, it's the same mindset. how do I use artificial intelligence to help small businesses continue to start, survive, and succeed? And so some of the features or functions that we're looking at right now using artificial intelligence is, how do I surface up insights on a business to a small business owner? How do I provide, in an easy to understand UI, user interface, cash flow position? How do I make them, or how do I help them understand how their business is tracking? Just one single example is, a lot of small businesses operate through a month, a week, a quarter, and then forget that they have to pay GST, or they have to hold back payroll, or hold back superannuation. So how do I help the system surface that up? So that's part of it. The other part of it, actually super important for us as a business, is how do I use AI to make my business more efficient? How do I create roadmap acceleration? How do I bring to market faster features? In the world of technology, if I put 100 of my customers in this room, they will be a never-ending list of features and functions that they would like added to the product. And I'm sure that everyone that's watching this will have their favorite piece of software and have a wish list of what they would like added. And the speed with which that I can bring that to market is a commercial decision. Allocation of capital towards R&D, so core research and development, to create more software, to bring more features to market. That takes time. So I'm also looking at how I can use AI inside our business to accelerate feature to market.
That's good. So how do you do that? Do you test it with some other companies, or how do you go with that?
Yeah, so I mentioned before, we've created a center of excellence for AI. Going deep into the world of AI right now, running a business, it actually starts with data. You've got to create an amazing data set inside your business. It needs to be managed correctly. It needs to be orchestrated correctly. It needs to have the right governance around it, because that becomes the system of record, or the data set that you use to then influence all the things that you do on behalf of your customers. So for us, for anyone that's watching this that understands accounting, accounting software effectively runs the general ledger. So we see all the journal entries that run to the general ledger that then create the financial statements. There is such a tremendous amount of data that exists in journal entries and then a set of financial statements that you can help a small business understand and surface up opportunities. And so what we do is, right now we're looking at how we structure the data and how we run AI, intelligent AI, across that data set to create the right outcomes for our customers. But organizationally, we still have 1 million customers running our software. And so I have, in this situation, carved out a team to run hard and fast to disrupt our own business around products and features in the world of AI, while we still deliver on the core of what we do, because businesses rely on us every single day to create an invoice, to pay their employees, to manage their expenses.
And so, what other emerging technologies or market shifts that you see as either existential threats or game-changing opportunities for MYOB's future?
So I think in terms of game-changing, I think mobile, the connection of mobile and AI will become should be very, very, very important. I like the modality of interaction as a mindset. So I often, again, thinking always about how a customer interacts with our product. Today, I'll give you an example. Today, a tradesperson doing a job, be that person an electrician or a plumber, would typically go to a job site, do some work, leave, go home, sit in front of a computer, create an invoice, send that invoice off via email, follow up that email, and then hopefully get paid, and then check their bank account to see if they've been paid. You know, I see a future where that individual can finish the job, be in their car, and talk to technology, and using a modality like voice, create an invoice, speak to the software, have the software speak back, ask about the business and interact, and use a lot of, and make that individual far more efficient. So I think about that as a huge opportunity, about this kind of bridging of AI and voice and mobile. I think that the pure compute power is continuing to grow exponentially. And so we'll see things happening faster. And so I think business efficiency is really important. I'm a technologist, so I would advocate that no matter what industry you're in, it's important to understand how technology can help you. We have statistics that say that a small business that does not use accounting software loses about 17 hours a month in admin. 17 hours a month in admin is either 3 more working days or it's time back with your family or your friends, having impact on society or your family, which is really important. So technology is a big enabler. And then probably the other big one right now that we're starting to see is this intersection of embedded payments, banking as a service, and software as a service.
So what's top priorities you've got over the short versus medium term?
Number one priority is always to continue to service our customers. The medium term is rolling out AI embedded into our offerings to make the product more efficient, and then continuing to really just focus on what our customers ask from us.
Talking to graduates or future leaders, what skills and mindset do you think they need to thrive in today's changing economy?
Have an open mindset, super important. Embrace change. Don't worry about linear and non-linear career paths. If you do what you love, you'll do it well. And I think that you'll be able to bring amazing insights to any business. I think that graduates right now, I think the other one thing that Australia needs, when you think about the current government agenda on productivity and innovation, is it's okay to have a crack. It's okay to start up a business. It's okay to take that leap of faith. It's okay to try to be a founder and an entrepreneur, and it's okay to fail. You'll learn so very much in doing that, and you may also succeed. And so I think that it's okay to run a career in a large organization, a small organization, but it's also okay to be a founder.
It's a great message. I think the next one, if you could give your younger self some advice before stepping into your leadership roles, what would that be?
Oh, wow. Can I share a story with you? So the very first time I became a leader in a corporate environment, I was a product manager and I was given an assistant product manager. And I won't share his full name, but this gentleman's name was Andrew. And I did everything possible that you could do wrong in managing Andrew as a brand new employee. I was passive in my engagement. I wanted him to be my friend. I wanted him to like me. I emailed him actions as opposed to having conversations. I probably never checked in on how he felt about his job or how he felt he was going. I kind of saw I couldn't work out the relationship. Couldn't work it out. I did everything wrong, and I realized that leadership actually is all about playing the ball, not the person. It's about understanding the role that you're doing in running and operating a business and leading people. Actually, the two come together very differently to the way that you engage with your friends outside of work or the relationship that you have with your family. And it's so important to be thoughtful, to be respectful, to embrace that person for who they are, not want them to be like you, to be respectful of just different opinions, to underline the values. And I think really I'd go back and say to myself, play the ball always, never the person, underwrite everything with high integrity and value, and just embrace people for who they are.
Well, that's really a great piece of advice. Thank you very much, Paul. It was a pleasure having you.
Fantastic. Thank you.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.